Kumunoy by Pablo. The first time I heard of this song was in the LA leg of their tour, and I did not know at the time that they have never released it formally. He's performed it several times apparently, but not released it formally. I don't know why he's crazy. He should be releasing it right at this moment. But at that time, when I first heard it, I really couldn't concentrate on the lyrics, which, as you know, it is the focal point when it's a rap song. But because the venue was really loud, people were screaming and stuff, so I couldn't really concentrate on the lyrics. So I obviously had to listen to it over and over again for me to actually grasp what he was trying to say. And so this is not going to be your conventional reaction where I'm listening to it and watching it for the first time. As I've said, I have actually listened to it several times already. So I will just go through some of the observations and things that I learned about Pablo as a songwriter, and of course about the song. Let's get to it. Okay, so the first part of the song, so from here all the way until the first chorus, actually in the entirety of the song, he maintained a level melody. In the second and the third part, he did raise the tune, so it went higher, but it's still the same melody, and it actually sounds like a laid back kind of melody, and the beat is also the same. So and once I realized what he was trying to say in the song, it kind of dawned in me that it actually sounds like somebody who's exhausted and just tired, but you're forced to keep on going just because you don't have a choice. When you're sort of just strutting along, when you're just walking, but you really don't know where you're going, you don't want to go, but you don't have a choice, so you just put one foot in front of the other. That's how that actually how it sounds like. He sounds so exhausted, and it only goes to show again as just how he is as a composer and as a songwriter. He has so much awareness in how he can take all the elements together and communicate the message or the emotion that he wants to communicate. Okay. Second is that I've mentioned in the past that Pablo has such a mastery over words that words are actually his slave. He can take anything, any word, and make it mean anything that he wants. He is able to bend words. He's able to restructure the context and restructure how you use it in a sentence so that it means what he wants it to mean, instead of being enslaved by what the song means. And he did it again here. So I'm going to mention it later, but that's another thing. Okay. Actually, even in this line where he say kaya pa ba 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 bye. So for those of you who don't understand Filipino, it means can I still hold on bye. But in our language, because there are words that rhymes. Basically, he made it rhyme so that it feels like one phrase, but it's actually two different sentences. Okay, let's go. I also like how he shifts between rapping and singing, and he does it so swiftly. It's such effortless thing to do for him. Um, as a kid, I used to be so scared of Kumunoy, quicksand. Uh, I don't know where it started. Maybe it was my cousins trying to scare me when I was being a bad girl, but I was so scared of Kumunoy. Okay, this line is genius. Mabigat ang dala dahil ang puso'y bato na. The load feels heavier because my heart is has turned into a stone. Because for those medical students out there, a soft heart is actually a strong heart, and a hard heart is actually a weak heart. And so he used that in the song. I didn't know that he has such wide view of the medical field of biology. But again, this shows you how just how thoughtful he is and how aware he is of things, of facts, that he's able to take all of those facts and use it in a poetic manner. So when I read this, I was just like, that's just so freaking genius. So yeah, so he was saying that this load actually feels heavy because my heart has hardened. So had he had a softer heart, then the load would have felt lighter. Okay. So and then the next line. Okay, this next line is also nothing short of a genius. Because when you're carrying something, it doesn't always mean that you're supposed to be at a lower level. In fact, when you're carrying something, it's supposed to put you in a higher level because you're the stronger one. You're carrying something. But here he's saying, I'm carrying things. Why do I need to stay below the ground, on the ground? Why do I need to stay lower? So it feels like what he's saying is that something on my back, I'm not like I'm being forced to carry this, and it's pushing me down. So it's the total opposite of what you would imagine, what you would visualize. When you're carrying something, your visualization is that you're actually walking and that you're the stronger one carrying this something, a load or someone weaker. But he's saying this load is not something that I choose to carry, and it's actually pushing me down. So how he was able to actually like flip what you would visualize based on what he's saying. Okay. This is again how he was able to take something and put the total opposite of what it meant. Sorry, how he was able to take something that you would visualize and completely flip over what it actually means. When you say patuloy akong lalangoy sa dagat ng luha, when you talk of tears, it's supposed to be about sadness or anguish or mystery or frustration or whatever. And so what you would think is that also he is suffering, he is sad, or he's whatever. But what he's actually saying is that I will survive this pain. That's why he said I will continue to swim in the sea of tears. So another demonstration on how he can take something visual and concrete and completely flip over what it means. Okay, So there's one more part left, but in the first, this is how superior is when it comes to narrative progression. This is how superior he is in a song that talks about your anguish and your pain, or just how things are difficult. I would understand if all I hear of a song is complaints of how painful he is, how down he feels, or whatever. But he actually still manages to progress his narrative. Okay, so one, there's that lyrical progression, there's the melodic progression, and then there's the narrative progression. He is doing something far more superior because it's actually progressing the narrative. So in the first part of the song, he was just complaining about the pain, about how tired he is, how down he feels. And then he goes into the second verse and he's actually talking to somebody else. So it's not just about him complaining. This is him communicating how he feels to somebody. Okay. And then, so we'll get to this on the third part, but on the third part was actually his resolution. So from talking about his pain, expressing how painful things is, how painful things are, and how down he feels, he goes into communicating that to somebody, um, asking why this is happening to him. And then on the third part, he realizes something. Okay, he realizes that, oh, wait a minute, maybe you are putting me at a disadvantage. But all these things, the heaviness and all this stuff, this is me in my head. This is my head that's actually doing this to me. And I have, and then in the end, he actually addresses it to God, which to all those non-Filipinos out there, majority of the Philippines are Christians, specifically Catholic. So he's probably one of them because he does talk to God and he says that, I'm sorry that I forgot that you have been there all along. So he didn't just, it could have been, had he just continued complaining or had he just continued communicating how painful he was feeling, it would have been just as poetic, because this could have been just one song that was talking about pain, but he chose to progress it. He chose to progress the narrative. Okay. Okay. Um, he also exercises so much control over the execution. Uh, over his own voice, actually. I think if there's anything that I realized in Ilaw, maybe you guys know this more than I do, but one of the things that I realized about Ilaw is that he is indeed not just a rapper, he's actually a singer, and a damn good one at that. He is better than 98% maybe of those that are claiming to be singers. He the his range, his resonance, the just the ability to communicate emotions in his voice is just it's just superior. So in that part where he could have easily pushed the note and impressed the audience on how high he can go and how long he can keep that note, he decided he was going to pull back because that has a better effect in the overall emotion of the song. Because remember, he he's in if you visualize it, he's trying to take your hand so that the two of you can take the journey towards the pain that he felt and how he recovered. So it's like going through a hallway and there's several rooms, and he's trying to give you a peek at each room and describe to you what's inside, and each room would represent his pain. And he could have easily pushed you or take the two of you inside a room and really submerge you into pain, but he didn't go that route. And in my interpretation, it's because that is not the end goal, that is not the end message that he wanted to communicate. And so there is no need for him to pull you deeper into that um, that that emotion. So he could have easily pushed it further. He didn't, because that is not what's going to achieve the message that he wanted to communicate. He could have that there. So we know he can do it. He can do it far better than many other singers. He could have taken it there, but he chose not to. Okay. So this is the part. This is the part when he. So this is the third part, the resolution. If you put it in a movie, and this is when he actually took accountability of his emotions. Okay, and then also, so he had a narrative progression, and then he had a melodic progression. In the first part, it was really low. He was really going low. Um, so let's see here. Right. A very low register. And then he went to the second part. So he is a little higher. And then finally, then this is in his resolution, that's when he actually went higher. Although he kept the same melody. So he's a little higher already. So his progression isn't just confined to the narrative, but also in the melody. And again, it proves just how intentional he is in every element of the song that he writes. That's another part. I thought he was going to, when I was watching him live, I thought he was going to take it there. He decided to pull back. It didn't serve a purpose. So this is a part where he was singing to God. Okay, that's where that part. So this is when he's taking accountability and him realizing, the pain may have been caused by you, but the when I stayed there, that was my choice to stay in that space. So he was taking accountability. It's very, very rare for this generation. Okay. So another thing, I think I've pretty much said everything I wanted to say. The other thing is that when you listen to it, just observe how the beat is actually consistent throughout the song. That it was actually, if you listen to it, you will realize that the one thing that carried the song throughout was his melody and his lyrics. It's the biggest boss in the industry. Just his lyrics, his voice, his delivery, his lyrics, his voice, and the melody. The rest, but the beat was pretty much consistent the entire time, and it's so uncommon in this day and age because there's a lot of songs. If you listen to it, just try to be aware of how overproduced many songs are. There's too many elements, too many instruments. His was very, very simple because that wasn't the whole point. This was a song of anguish, a song of reconciliation, and a song of accountability. So it was him that had to be heard. So those who are not from the Philippines, Kumunoy is, I think, one of the most common ways, one of the most common fears of young children in the Philippines. Um, but it does really represent a lot of the things that we go through in life. It's when, people actually pull you down, or circumstances pull you down. But at the end of the day, the only way, once you're there, the only way for you to get out of it is through your own. It's the only thing that can get you out of it is yourself. Um, Also, this is a different kind of anguish. This is a different kind of complaint, in that he wasn't really yelling. He wasn't really angry. It was just really an introspection of how he felt. It was him communicating how he felt. So it's a different kind of song of pain, basically. Um, yeah, I think I appreciated the ending, especially. It really surprised me in a good way. There's just so much. It is a peak of how he is as a person. He's not the kind that would push people he's not the kind that would blame other people, or blame circumstances. It seems that at the end of it, he emphasizes that the power has always been his. Okay, I hope he releases it. I don't know who to call. I don't know who to email to inspire him to release it, but I hope he does. All right. If you have any suggestions, comments, questions, violent reactions, if you can be violent while being respectful, you can do that in the comment section. You can also get in touch with me in any of the social media links. And of course, don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you like it. Of course, subscribe and hit that notification button so that you know when there's a new video coming out. And share it, because that's really helping my channel. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Till next time.